What is up, everyone? Welcome to the Rage Traders NRL Supercoach podcast. I hope you're doing absolutely amazing, and I hope your week went very well and you didn't run into too many injuries or unlucky scenarios. Thank you so much for watching and listening. First of all, if you are listening on YouTube or watching on YouTube, I should say, like, subscribe, and comment for the algorithm. That is always appreciated. If you are listening on Apple or Spotify podcasts and you like what you hear, you enjoy it, you had some fun listening, a 5-star review goes a long way. So please do that if you can. And of course, if you didn't know, we do have the Rage Traders Discord. So the Discord link will be in the description below on YouTube. If you're a Discord user, we want to come in and hang, where we talk about Supercoach, game day chats, a team advice, everything you can think of. Come on in, it's completely free, and have some fun and chat. Now, let's talk about my team first quickly. Boy, oh boy, let me tell you guys, I was set for an absolute blinder of a week. I was set for approximately, I would say, about close to a 1400 for me. Things were looking great, and unfortunately, Walsh, he gets injured. He was my captain. It happens. Mostly the biggest Supercoach injury for me since I've started playing Supercoach, in terms of like the captaincy and it hurting my team a lot. However, I have a DNP in my hooker where I get Peasant's AE of 14, and then I have Walsh getting injured on a 38 as my captain, and I still finished at 1254. I'm trying to see the silver lining in it all, because I still have a reasonable score with two very unfortunate scenarios. I did think Peasant was going to score a bit more. That's why I got Reece Robson a bit early. Again, it's part of Supercoach. One thing I will say, and I don't know if you guys agree with this, AFL Fantasy has this thing that if a player is your captain and they do not stay on the ground for 50% time of total time on ground, that captaincy then goes back to the vice captaincy, and the vice captaincy score is doubled. Now, I think that's a bit too lenient, but I would love to see something in Supercoach where you can use what's called a jailbreak or get out of jail sort of free card, where once per season, if your captain gets injured, whatever it may be, they finish on a 20, they finish on a 30, you can choose this once only in a season, where it will take your vice captaincy score and double it. I would really love to see something like that. Let me know what you think about that in the comments. I know at the end of the day, it is fantasy. This is what's going to happen. Yeah, I just traded in Reece Walsh from Kinney, and he got injured. He was so close to scoring an absolutely incredible, like 90, 100 meter try. Would have been electric, but it is what it is. I'm not going to talk about like a lot about who I'm trading out, but I'm very happy that I've still held on to Isaiah Yeo, even though I wanted to go to Twal. I thought it was a bit sideways. Twal had obviously a very good game in a Golden Point thriller. I will also say, guys, I had a secret $50 on Parramatta and the Tigers to go to extra time. Cute little $650 return. Couldn't believe it actually happened. Yeah, wild game. We'll get into that. But let's get into the wrap up. Let's get into the week now that was, my thoughts. Now, I'm just going to also discuss one thing that I'm starting to see with the new rules, okay? This 6 again rule, I was speaking to this about someone. I'm noticing that the points are just way higher than what they've usually been, especially spread out over a round. Like, if we just look at the points now, like 52 points, 32 points, 50 points, 32, 26, 36, 32, 22. That's a lot of high points, like games where we're not usually seeing back before, you know, a game that goes 16-12 or like 12-10. Like, we're rarely seeing that. And I think with the 6 again sort of rule making the game a lot quicker, you're seeing a lot of unfit teams get gassed out, or just teams in general that are on the defensive end a lot because of these type of 6 again plays. They're getting gassed out, which is serving, you know, these edges and 2RFs who are getting extra runs. in on these new sets is also not allowing teams to really go for a penalty, take the easy two, reset, then the game continues on. So we really need to start factoring in now that there are a lot of players that are scoring very, very high, even like your Sasagis, your Twals, your like for example, a Twal, they might take the two, but with the 6 again rule, he could have another hit up and then an offload out of that, which is just so much value if he's playing 70 plus minutes. So, you know, when we're seeing these Thomas Jenkins and, you know, Latrell Mitchells, these centers that are scoring high, plus these 2 RFs, plus fullbacks, it's really like you got to get onto the right players quickly, and it hurts when you don't, like when you go for a Val and he has a mediocre game. But something I wanted to discuss, because that's something I've been noticing, and I think as the season gets on more, you're really going to see some big blowout games, I think. I mean, you're already seeing a bit of it now. Imagine when teams know that they can't make the top 8, know that they need to win to get into the top 8. Yeah, it's going to be pretty wild. And I don't know if it's something that will get restrained a bit, but we'll have to see. We'll have to wait and see. Anyway, so still happy with my round. Very curious to see tomorrow if I will get green arrows or slightly red. I'm assuming it'll be slightly red because a lot of people have Nico Hines, and a lot of people might have had Nathan Cleary as like a vice captain or a captain. So we'll have to wait and see on that. But again, 12:54 pending updates. Happy with that. Brandon Smith said to be coming in next week as well, so that'll be something that comes in for me. And I'm still holding Ryan Couchman. Only had the one trade this week, which was Keanu Kinney to Reece Walsh. Obviously, Reece Walsh will be a massive out. We'll get into the game day wrap up, but let's get straight into it, eh? Let's get straight into it. So I watched every game bar one this week, so hopefully I know what I'm talking about. Seagulls winning 52-18. So this was the game that, and again, why I brought in Robson. I'm like, surely Herbie goes 100 plus this game. He just got there, and the Sea Eagles win 52-18 under Kieran Foran's coaching. It's just something we always see. A coach comes in. I'll move my webcam for you guys watching on video. Sorry, because I'm blocking that. But yeah, a absolutely insane game. Now, the most unfortunate thing here is if you are a Turbo owner, he gets a 72 here. He had a HIA where his head whiplashed into the ground and he got checked. He was all fine to come back on, but because they were dominating, they're like, look, Turbo, just rest. It's fine. So he only gets a 72. That is very unlucky for people that vice captained him. Very unlucky for people that had him as a captain. In general, and just very unlucky for owners because he was set to have a blinder this game. 72 break even at $727,400. I think he's very close to a must-have next week. I am going to say that because the draw for Manly is really, really nice. Shane Flanagan hasn't been fired. Or from what I know now, they come up against St. George at away, then North Queensland away, Parramatta at home, Penrith away, Broncos at home, West Tigers away, Gold Coast at home. So quite a nice draw. That should be a bit of a points frenzy, but again, unfortunate if you owned Turbo, but you're still happy you have him and he'll be playing next week. The standout for this game for me was Olakuatu for sure, 128 points. I think, again, he's someone who I'm looking at highly. Remember last week how I said I'm just holding on to Yo to see which 2RF I want to go to. Now, that could still be Twal. It could still be Olakuatu. I don't know who I'm going to go to from there. I really do still like Twal, but I like the ceiling of Olakuatu more. So yeah, I'd say Olakuatu is someone who I'm really leaning into, considering his form and price being 640,000 with an 82 break even. You're going to see his price go up a bit, but damn, it went a lot to him and he looked really, really good. Nice little pods for you here. I really like Kula, 104. He's not owned by too much in the comp at the moment, especially with their run. That could be a nice little pod, but he gets a 104 here. Jamal Fogarty, don't think he's super coach relevant, to be honest with you. Garrick had his first okay game, 73. Paseka 54. If you're a Paseka owner, you will live with that. But nothing else. No one else I'm really targeting there. To me, it's the Ola Kawatu. Maybe Lehigh Hopewadi is someone you could look at. Got a 95 this game. But for me, it's like Ola Kawatu, Kula, Turbo, and then maybe Hopewadi. That's where I'm sort of looking at for here. With the Dolphins, geez. Herbie Farnworth, it doesn't matter if they lose by 40. It doesn't matter if they win by 50. He is so consistent. Got a try in this game for a 90. I was hoping he'd get around that 110 mark so I could VC loop it. Didn't happen. It is what it is. But still, you're very happy if you're a Herbie owner. And I think you are, if you're not an owner, you're really chasing to try and get him after this bye. And just really knuckle down on just having him in your team for that State of Origin period, because you can see how consistent he is, and a lot of the top dogs will already have him. So I think he should be someone you look at getting. But that's just my opinion, of course. Hammer, I think he got 2 tries this game for memory. Very like late junky tries. 92. I don't think he's super coach relevant. I really don't. He doesn't have like the workhorse rate of other fullbacks that I would just trust more in. Again, if you want to try and pot him up, go for it. But I also don't like the form the Dolphins are in. I think you're wow, I actually didn't see this, but Finafuiaki was at a 60, goes down to a 53. So a bit of an unfortunate game here. He was actually very close to like doing some damage at points and scoring a try. Don't be too disheartened from that. But I think also if you aren't a Finafuiaki owner and you were like planning to still go to him, now that he's scored so low, I think that is completely fine if you want to go to him after that bye. That is no stress whatsoever because the work rate is there and he was very close to scoring. If we look at the Dolphins draw as well, after Manly, obviously they have the bye, but they come into Penrith, New Zealand away, Melbourne, Bulldogs. It's hard to say because both Melbourne leaking a bit of points and same as Bulldogs. So if it's something that you want to test the waters with, you can do it. But maybe there's better 2RFs out there that you can go for. But I still like him as a pick if you wanted to go there. Avarillo's been surprising for me. Still only got a 66 this game, but he is a good player that I don't think gets enough attention. Osako only a 63 in this one. And for you, the owner, of Selwyn Cobbo, only a 41. I think, as I've said before last week, he has to go. Flegler 37 if you are a FRF owner of Flegler. Katoa a 33 if you still own him. He's a must go in my opinion. That should have happened earlier. If you're holding on to him for this game, get rid of him. You need to try and find a way to get to either like Dewey, Cleary or Hines as soon as possible. Just remember, Sharks also have the bye coming up in round 7 for memory. Yeah, and that's it for the Dolphins Manly game. Let's get straight into the Rabbits versus Bulldogs. A lot of upsets I wasn't expecting here. I was expecting Bulldogs to win this one. I was proven wrong. Tallis Duncan, 101. He was in the starting side again, really looking good. Honestly, for me, a bit of a sneaky pod in this one that I am going to monitor a bit more. Tallis Duncan, I really like him as a player. $547,200, a 95 break even, scoring 101. You're going to see that price slightly go up, but boy, could be a time to maybe look at Tallis Duncan, maybe tap in. Latrell Mitchell proves to be the gun center, in my opinion. That's just been close to a must-have. Herbie's been great, but Latrell for me and Thomas Jenkins are the two guys that are just like, I wish I had from the start, and Latrell was one of them. Obviously, Jenkins was hard to pick, but 101 was phenomenal in this game. Had a really crazy good pickup try, and just playing at an elite level. So yeah, really good from him. Not much to talk about. If you don't have him, he could be easily a target for you. Alex Johnston, a 77, nice to see. Cameron Murray still putting great numbers in at the 2RF position. Not putting up the huge twirl numbers, so I don't know how much of a must-have he is or someone we really focus on. But, geez, a 68 from him is really nice to see. Really just playing big minutes as well, which is also really, really good. 59 break even at 564,100. I think as the season gets on, he will be continuing to get better. For me, someone who will be in my trades coming this week is Kolomatangi. Just copped an injury in that game, also as a PCL worry. I think the injury in that game was a bit of an ankle twist, or it fell on his ankle a bit weird. Played for the rest of the game. Good on him. Thank you for that, because I was very, very scared. Only got a 54 here. He was going to be in my trades last week. I decided to hold. He's going to lose a bit of money here, having an 84 break even and only getting a 54. But I think for me, there's just so much better value. I also have Jackson Ford in my flex. Another reason why Colin Matunga, I think it's just he's not really worth the price, considering what we're getting from other players. Like a Jackson Ford's giving me a 60, Paddy Carrigan's giving me like a 70, 72. So really nice to see, and I don't have Payne Haas. So for me, he is someone, I'm not going to say he's a must go or must trade out, but for me, he is just based on my team and how it's looking, and I need to make space for other fullbacks, which is what my plan is. So yeah, for me, a 54, bit mediocre. The also other thing about him is he kind of just runs at the line, gets tackled and plays the ball, where some of these other FRF, 2RFs, they run and they look for the offload. And I think that's what's really missing from his game, especially Supercoach wise. So that's why he's going to be out of my team this week. Jai Gray, really good, but still only a 54. Don't think he's someone you really focus on. Fafita, also another topic here. I'm kind of getting over owning Fafita. I don't know if you guys are on the same like sort of opinion as me, but with only a 33 break even at 525,000 and he scores a 42, he's gonna make a tiny bit of money here. But it's like, come on, man, like there has to be a time when this guy just unleashes for a massive game. Now if we look at the South Sydney Rabbitohs, they do have Canberra next, who need a win, so that'll be an interesting game. Then they have St. George at home, Melbourne away, Newcastle away, Sharks at home, Dolphins at home, into North Queensland away, but that is the origin sort of period where they're going to be missing like Latrell and that. So yeah, it's just someone that I'm just like, you know what, I'm really monitoring for Fafita. I just, yeah, I'm not really happy with what he's producing compared to other 2RFs, and I think that's the main reason. So he's going to be on a big watch list for me. I'll give him one more week and see how he goes there. Campbell Graham, if you're on him, I think you need to get off, to be honest with you. I wasn't a fan of him from the start, but that's just me. And honestly, nothing else crazy here for the South Sydney Rabbitohs. Cody Walker, actually, a bit of a mention here, 58. You'll live with that from Cody Walker at his price. $434,600, break even of 73. He will lose some money here and there, but again, in a game like this, maybe you wanted to see a bit more, but at least it's not, you know, the 30 that he's capable of. Tuala, he's actually been super impressive for the Bulldogs. He was someone who I was actually looking at last week. I didn't pull the plug on him, but now he's going to gain a bit of cash here. I think I spoke about him in a possible pods video, or maybe I didn't. I can't remember. I think I had him in, then I took him out. But a break even of 53 and he scores a 77. Now with the Stephen Crichton injury, that only ensures his position even more. The problem is the Bulldogs attack. I mean, they looked pretty average this game. He looked good. That's good to see. But I think some things are going to shake up in this Bulldogs sort of lineup and the attack. So we'll have to wait and see what happens there. I do think Lockie Galvin looked the best in the team, to be honest with you. It gets a 55 here in Supercoach points. Still, I think for me personally, the Bulldogs are kind of like the Sharks for me last season, where I said I wasn't touching anyone bar like Nico Hines or Iro. For me, the Bulldogs for me right now, it's like I just don't want to touch anyone. They lose their Stephen Crichton, who is a core pinnacle of the team. Kick out 35, Preston 52. He seems like he's try dependent. I mean, if Bailey Hayward is scoring equal to or more than kick out and Preston, that's a worry in itself. Kiraz only a 54 here. He's someone who I'm still monitoring, but I don't think he's a must have at the moment. 120 break even. He will be cheap as chips. He also could get chosen for Origin, which we need to wait and see. There also is some injury niggles there, but still, it's just, I think with the other CT dubs and what we're seeing, he's someone that we don't have to jump to at the moment, but at the right time could be easily very, very good. So that's my take on the Bulldogs. 32-24, South Sydney Rabbitohs win that match. Panthers versus Storm. Boy, oh boy, I was sitting down for this game. I'm like, here it is. Gonna have a good game of footy. It's gonna be close. It's gonna be a really tight match. Two head honchos going at it. And Panthers win 50-10. Nathan Cleary, 115 points. Glad I'm an owner. Really surprised by this outcome, to be honest with you. I didn't have him as vice captain or captain. I just didn't think this would happen. I was expecting him to get anywhere from like a 60 to like an 85. And I was like, I wouldn't vice captain or captain either of those scores. So I didn't go with it. Boy, he proved me wrong. Thomas Jenkins. I mean, I'm not gonna say who, but I said this 1 or 2 weeks ago. I think it's a fine trade. He plays in a very, very good team, and there were some people out there saying that he's not a trade. Is it too late to get Jenkins? If Panthers keep playing like this, no, definitely not. If he is the top try scorer by the end of the season, Panthers are going to be laughing. The problem is, well, it's not a problem. You've only got Jenkins for a limited time at his core best, because obviously they're going to have a lot of origin outs, and that's where he really, really will likely lose a bit of points. Again, what Bulldogs turn up this week, I don't know. They have Bulldogs away, into Dolphins away, into Newcastle away. So 3 away games in a row, into Manly, into Canberra. So Manly at home, Canberra away, St. George. Still a nice run. Maybe now you hold off him for 1 or 2 rounds, but if you want to jump on. Bulldogs are at their weakest with Stephen Crichton injury and just not looking good as a team. I haven't seen them be this bad for a long time. So maybe you can still jump on. And if he's going to continue to put up 80 plus numbers, you're not going to, scoff at that whatsoever. Dylan Edwards proves to be just a consistent fullback, even though I think sometimes he can have lowish scores. I mean, if they're going to put up points that are over 30, 34 points per game, he will be a recipient of something. A nice play you can try and go for is Casey McLean getting 104 this game. Definitely his best game last week. Maybe you tap into that form then instead of Jenkins. Maybe you get both Jenkins and McLean. That's something you can do. But boy, oh boy, did he look good this game. He just absolutely took over. And also, he's on the same side as Jenkins, so he still is going to see ball. Brian To'o with a 73 looked really active this game. As I've always said, I think To'o is really active in these massive headliner games, and then sometimes when they're just versing easy teams, like it could be an Eels or a Titans and they dominate, he kind of fades to the side and doesn't score well in Supercoach, and that's what annoys me sometimes. Lussick, if you own him, Mitch Kenny should be back next week because of the suspension. So, take your 72 and unfortunately lose 2 trades there, but you're happy with that if you did that. Isaiah Yeo, it's getting very close now to him leaving your team, although with a 46 break even and him getting a 69, I think that's really, really good. Again, he was a trade for me this week to Alex Twal. I reversed it. I'm happy that I still have Yo, even though Twal did very, very well. But, 30 points difference to save a trade. I will always save a trade over that for now. Isaiah Papali'i, 50 this game, a bit underwhelming for, the scoreline. Again, I've always said I caution on a player like this that goes from 60 minutes to 80 minutes to 60 minutes to 80 minutes. But again, just didn't see everything this game. I don't think he's someone who is a must-have. I'd prefer an Olakau'atu. I'd prefer a Twal over an Isaiah Papali'i any day of the week. But yeah, that's my 2 cents. And no one else here from the Panthers to really talk about. Going to the Storm, look, Fa'alogo gets a try towards the end of the game to get a 65. I think you're super happy with that, to be honest with you. He was one of my reserves. I'll take that to the bank and go to the next game in a game where they got just absolutely outplayed. Again, Joe Chan, don't need to talk about him too much. 56. But he's still continuing to make us cash. And I think it'll come very soon where we possibly look at people moving him on to a more premium. Maybe Dragons actually get some form soon. Maybe you go to a Jaden Sewer or someone of that caliber. instead of Chan, but keep monitoring that. And maybe around that origin period is when you can move, or just before then, because there'll be a lot of oomph that's taken out of the Storm because of origin and stuff like that. Jerome Hughes, 47 in a game like this. Yeah, unfortunate there. Stefano Otoye-Kamanu, at the moment, I don't think he's been a good buy for now. I mean, a 56 is great. Don't get me wrong. It's not amazing. Look, I shouldn't say he hasn't been a good buy. Let me take that back. I think that I expect him just to do a bit more, but a 56 in a game like this is very sort of okay. You're just okay with it, especially when they've just got absolutely walloped. If you have him, you hold him. You're not rushing him in to get him in if you don't have him. Warbrick, this is the unfortunate side of Warbrick where they get dominated. He gets a 25. He does average around that 40 mark. So this is what you see there. Unfortunate there. Nothing else to really talk about Supercoach relevancy besides Harry Grant, a measly 39. This is why I haven't gone to Harry Grant, because in a game like this where if it was Blake Brayley, I still think Brayley would get a 50 to 55. I've said this before, there's times that Harry Grant is just a facilitator, and when he versus teams who are a bit more switched on, this is the type of score you're going to see from him. He hasn't been a bad player to own. He hasn't been a bad player to get in. It's just I would love to see him in these type of games at least get 50. But boy, if you just got him in, you'll be upset with it. But if you've been an owner of him for weeks, you know you've definitely still won on that in or on that early trade if you got him in. Nothing else here for the Storm. Panthers winning this one 50 to 10. My Cowboys. Boop 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 boop. We're back, baby. Beating the Dragons 32-0. If you've held on to Drinkwater, congratulations. You're reaping some rewards here. But let me tell you, the biggest reward here is my boy Purdue. Started with him in the 5'8". He started off, and Cowboys started off a bit slow. And look at him now. Look at him now. He's flying. Get ready. I think a lot of people are going to be worried about Purdue because now, you know, things are flowing with the Cowboys. I'm not saying we're a top 4 team or anything, or a top 8 team. We're just that the scoring is there. $648,600 with a 27 break even and getting 108 points. Super happy to have him. Also, if there's a 5'8" that comes into play, maybe Purdue could take over the Peasant spot. Did we think about that? That could be a nice little strategy where we shift Purdue to the Peasant spot. We then have him a reserve every week, or we just swap and change with who our main other main person is, or get a new 5'8" in. There's a lot of things you can do with him because of that duality as well in CT dubs, which is why I started with him. But now you are reaping the benefits, and it looks like things are set in stone. Tom Chester was in this game, got a 74, so good, like base, no tries. Was close, but this is like the team now. Jake Cliff at 125 super coach points, playing like at a really elite level. Todd Payton's not going to change anything with the team. Reed Marnie, finally a 54, played the full 80. Interesting to see. Does this bite me back in the bum a bit? Just not holding on to Reed Marnie. We'll find out. But I was just over him as a hold. We'll have to wait and see though. Supercoach relevancy wise, Dearden finally gets a good, like really nice score, 89. Nothing crazy, but still good to see. Nothing else much to talk about for the Cows, to be honest with you. Zach Laybart came on for, was it Burden? I can't remember, but he came on for a bit, scoring 9, but maybe monitor that in the team lists that are coming out tomorrow. Leilua got an 81. Jeez. I did not know that. Luciano Leilua got an 81 in base. Whoa. Okay, well, the thing we have to understand is that I think Gutherson is also out with a hamstring injury for 2 to 3 weeks. And Shane Flanagan has said that there's going to be some massive changes happening. Atkinson could be on the chopping block. We don't know what's going to happen. So we really need to wait for team lists to see that. Happy I didn't go straight to the Hamish Stewart play here. Couchman getting a 67 is nice. I still think Stewart's been a fine buy, but I just expected them to be a bit more competitive. Cook with a measly 47, which is, it's okay, but he's this team's capable of better. There was a point where they had an easy try and they just didn't pass it, and one of the players took a run. They're just not in sync on attack, and it's really hurting them. Val Holmes, guys, this is the biggest talking point here. 30 points. I don't know how. Against his old team, yeah, it really hurts. Some people in my Discord had him as vice captain or captain. That is just disgusting to see, but it happens. It happens. Do you move off Holmes? That's the biggest question. Maybe wait for team lists, see what they're offering. But for St. George, I did say they have a really nice run that you want to target. You know, they have Manly next, South away, Sydney Roosters bye. I mean, you really wanted to see more from the Gold Coast and North Queensland game, to be honest with you. So maybe it is time to maybe ship off. Maybe you're looking just to go straight to a Latrell or a Herbie from Val if you didn't have those players, which I would tick off immediately. But yeah, unfortunate there. Nothing else much to talk about. Sewer, 57. You know, he's the base beast of the team, but in a game like this, there's only so much he can do. Glad I didn't go there either. Titans versus Broncos, 26-12. The game that hurt my soul. Boy, oh boy. The Titans, I know this scoreline looks a bit iffy, but the Titans played so well in the first half. Congrats to them. They looked like a really, really good team. But, you know, Broncos, even with their injuries, grinded them out. The biggest talking point here is Reece Walshy. 38, out to 4 to 6 weeks, facial fracture. It happens. I'm not going to harp on about it too much. Let's talk about another person who I spoke about in a pod video. Tony Staggs, a 76. You'll take that to the bank. Good to see there. He seems to just score a try in a game. Willison, 71. Also, the other biggest talking point, Payne Haas, 49. Are you jumping off him? The problem is, and this is the only thing, and this is what I spoke about, is that because they have not so bad of a run, I mean, they do have West Tigers away and North Queensland next. Like, I think that there's a high chance that if they dominate a game, he rests. Now, because they're versing the Cowboys and they're a bit undermanned, I think Haas will get minutes. I do think my Cowboys will win this game, however, just because of all the injuries. I could be completely wrong. But do you need, and this is exactly why I traded him out, is he worth the price tag? He's $837,700, 84 break even, and he just scored 49. I think you're going to see a lot of people trading him out because, one, the injury, but two, you're seeing Alex Twirls get 90. You're seeing, like, even on a casual game, they get a 70. Simi Sasagi, you know, he's getting an 86 in a game where they get dominated. There's a lot of players right now that are under, like, the 500, 600K mark that are putting up Payne Haas scores. And I think you have to adapt to that quickly. And that's what I did last week. I just said, no, I'm setting up my team on a whole default structure of it looking good. And I just think, yeah, you got to get off him if you're not going to be happy with the 60 to 65 from him and you're expecting more. I think you should get off. That's my personal opinion, but take that as you may. Anything else to talk about for the Broncos? Not really, to be honest with you. Hunt injured, Reynolds injured, Reece Walsh injured. Very tough to see. Until they come back to full strength, I think it's off the Broncos, unless you're like a Katoni Staggs owner or Willison owner. I think Willison could be a bit of a dark horse, but again, yeah. Oh, let me retract that. You're not off the Broncos, but we're not looking to get anything from the Broncos right now. I've got Paddy Carrigan. He's going to sit in my team, especially if Payne Haas is managed. Very happy with his score of 70. Like, he's just putting up a consistent sort of Haas-like number that I love to see. Talking about the Titans, Jaden Campbell, 70, been good. Tino Fa'amasulali, his best game so far, in my opinion, 559,000 with a 96 break even, scoring a 60. Even he had a couple of errors here, but I think that I saw a bit of the old Tino this game and a better side this game, which matched him very well. So just monitor him, because there could be a point where you get him. I'm still not 100% on that because there's just so much value in 2RF. Arama Howe, 53 in my team, but I didn't have a reserve on him. Still, he was very, very close to scoring, got held up basically at the line. Thank you for that, because I would have hated that. Bo Fermor was good-ish this game, running the line very, very hard. For a 66, we know what he's capable of, but doesn't have that 2RF CTW duality, only 2RF, and I think he needs a bit of attacking stats. I also will say, and I've said this over and over, I think Brimson is better in the center, but only getting 20 points this game. The base just isn't there. He's going to be so cheap, guys. $525,300 with a 93 break even, and he scored a 20. This guy is going to be so cheap. He could be a massive pod. Now they have Parramatta away, New Zealand away, bye, Canberra at home, Sydney away, Newcastle, Manly, bye. So boy, oh boy, if you wanted to pot it up on someone, that could be super, or that will be super, super cheap. Brimson could be your guy. The problem, when does he get, can you guys let me know in chat? Now, I'll also say there's two things. Because he's 5'8", if you're off Pezzett, because he's losing so much money, he could be someone you go to. Now, if anyone in chat knows, or in the comments, could you let me know, when do the new DPPs come in where he will get CTW position? If you could let me know, that would be great, because I'm actually not too sure on that. Again, Supercoach-wise, I'm not really looking at anyone else. If you still held on to Kinney, I mean, the only place you were really going was Walsh last week, or Turbo. If you didn't go there, I think you can go Kinney to Turbo this week, or just hold if you want to maybe go to a Tedesco soon. But for me, yeah, look, I still was happy I went Walsh. It was an unfortunate situation. I think Kinney, the form isn't there, and also like the Gold Coast aren't there yet as a team. Maybe is someone we buy back in later on. But yeah, nothing else much here to talk about. Maybe a bit of a watch on Ezra Mam though, because he'll take a lot more of the workload, getting a 97 this game with the injuries to Ben Hunt and Adam Reynolds. He's going to be doing a lot of the sort of running of this team and being the general now, so that could work into his favor. Sharks versus the Warriors. Danny, if you're listening, you owe me a 6-pack of Cocoa Coast lychees. Thank you so much. I told you the Sharks were going to beat the Warriors for this game. Thanks for betting. Thanks for being a betting man. Appreciate ya. We can do another one if you want. Maybe we'll even it out, double or nothing. Nico Hines, 144 Supercoach points. Most probably the biggest player on my watch list now. The big question is if you don't own him, do you get him in now, or do you wait for the bye? That is the biggest question. So they have Sydney Roosters at home next, into a bye, into North Queensland away, West Tigers, Souths away, Bulldogs at home, by Manly St. George at home. This is a very big topic because, mate, if they are going to put up these type of scores and he's always going to be getting 100 plus scores from it, he's basically a must-have. He really is. It's just Cleary, Hines, all day long, matched next by Dewey. It really is. And I think if you still have Tanner Boyd and you already have Cleary in your team, you're going to see a lot of people going Tanner Boyd to Cleary or Tanner Boyd to Hines this week. So look for that out in your trades. 144, massive. Running the ball a lot. Sharks just seem, as I said, they'll verse an average team, dominate, they'll get massive Supercoach points. Then they'll verse a very good team, and then they'll have a shocker. It's just Sharks, how they play. It's how their Supercoach points work. Again, I still think Nico Hines is the guy here that you really want. On top of this, I'm still very, very happy I've held on to Iro, a 79 in this, where he gets a try. I just don't think there's anywhere else I would want to go. Like, I don't want to waste a trade to go to a Jenkins. I think I can do that from other positions or other players. But yeah, I'm just going to hold on to him with the draw that they have. And I just suspect he'll, over time, he'll have his 100+ game at some point soon. Kennedy 113, but I don't think he's Supercoach relevant. Billy Burns an 88, which is huge here. I think it's definitely getting close to time that we are looking at trading out Jesse Colquhoun, especially if McInnes is named soonish, but I think he was set to be like round 10 or something, right? So he's still plugging away, but I still think we can move on him earlier rather than later. He's got a 25 break even and only getting 40. So that's something. I think he got also a HIA in this, so correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. Blake Brayley in a 36-point win where Warriors also scored 22 points, only getting a 54. Really interesting. Really, really interesting. Whether they're playing more side-to-side footy, but he's not getting those scores that we've seen from the end of last season where he got told he needs to run it a bit more. So it's a really, really interesting watch here. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I think that's why you're a bit more like you're still happy with the Harry Grant play, because Brayley's not really making you pay for it, and there's not much else after that. But yeah, just really underwhelming, to be honest. I still don't think you move off him, but it's just, yeah, you want to see a 60+ from him, to be honest with you. Teague Wilton, 70. Interesting here. Very interesting, but something we have to monitor. I'm not going to look into it too much, especially when they score so much at home. Adam Fanua-Blake, I've spoken about him, 52 Supercoach points. Don't even go near that. Jesse Ramian, if you still held him for this game, a 25, he's gone. You need to get rid of him ASAP. Trindle, a 44 in this game. Oh, it's getting rough. I really expected him to score a bit more here. Very close to scoring at times. But yeah, it's just like, I think I would just rather a Purdue. But yeah, that's your decision if you want to hold him or not. I'm scared if I'm not a Purdue owner, and Cowboys have a really nice matchup because he always seems to score. Trindle, very dependent on him getting a lot of try assists or tries in a game. For those people in the Warriors owners having Jackson Ford, don't be too scared of him getting only a 60 here. I mean, I know we traded him in, but I just think the Warriors have not been playing great footy, and that's been a recipient of him getting a lesser score here. Mitch Barnett out, maybe we expected a bit more of a bump, but again, they were getting pretty dominated. I still think that there's a bit more left in him. And if you're comparing him to like a Colin Matangi, look at the difference. I mean, he's getting a flat 60. Colin Matangi's team's winning. Colo's got a PCL. You've also got other players like Payne Haas, who's like so much more, scoring so much less. I mean, don't expect an 80 from Jackson Ford every week. 65, okay, we'll see how they go. I've also said Warriors can be a bit of a different team away. Maybe we're seeing a glimpse of this. I also don't agree with the Luke Metcalf coming in so soon just because he was ready to play. I think that was a really bad decision, and I think they should have just kept it what it was. Luke Metcalf was on the interchange and became an impact player, but again, I'm not a part of the coaching stuff, but that's just how it's gone, and now they've lost twice. Charles Nickel-Kutstad, also Wade Egan, 76. That's very good for owners if you're an owner of him. Wateni Zelezniak, 103, massive in this game. Aaron Clark finally gets a goodish game of 68, but I don't think you're still going there. Just need to monitor minutes. Maybe he does get an increase in sort of usage and minutes because Barnett's not there, so that's something you could tap into if you want. Tanner Boyd, 41 here. He has a 43 break even at $750,000. Really interesting dilemma here is like, do you hold maybe for one more week, then go to Hines next week if you're not an owner of him, or hold for 2 weeks because they have the Roosters, then the bye. That's something you can look at. I still think there's a bit more life in him. The problem is they now have Melbourne away, but then they have Gold Coast and Dolphins. So it could be a very interesting strategy you play here for the Warriors. Just sort of like believing that they can score pretty well, and there's still a bit more left in Tanner Boyd. But if you're off him and you wanted to use him for the cash increase, and now you're like, he's at breaking point, go for it. Completely happy with you doing that. For people talking about Tane Tuapiki as a bit of a pod, I didn't like it. 40, nothing much to read there. Metcalf 30, again, very average. RTS has been really under par considering the way Warriors started. He was so good in their first game. I don't really know what's happening there. But yeah, someone who I'm not really understanding why there's not more Supercoach points in him, but only a 26 here. And yeah, the Warriors sort of brought a bit back down to earth, but I expect a bit of a bounce back from them next week and the following weeks. Let's go to the next game. Knights versus the Raiders. If you told me that the Knights were going to demolish the Raiders, I would have laughed in your face. I really expected Raiders to win this game. I really expected them to bounce back and just be a bit of a better team. And it didn't happen. 131 points. Dane Gagai winding back the clock and just fending whoever was in his face and just saying, no, thank you. This is why I'm an Origin star. This is why I'm still good. Age is nothing but a number. Absolutely huge this game. That right side for Newcastle Knights is looking very, very good with Gagai and Young there. Young, just if he gets a bit of a break, a gap, he's through. 86 points, absolutely huge. Lucas, again, for me, been an under par season for him, especially with the start that the Knights have had. Only got a 70 here. Again, with the value in 2RF. That's why I don't like it. If he was a center, I think you'd live with it and you'd be happy with it. But he doesn't have that position. Marju, 83, good to see. Also had a try this game. I think it was only one, it wasn't two. Fletcher Sharp, just keep him on the tabs because you can see each game he's slowly picking back up after the injury. 125 break even in a game where he scores 70. He will lose a bit of cash here, and maybe it's time to tap in very soon to Fletcher Sharp, considering the form they are in. Fletcher Hunt's been great for people that went there. He's going to make some cash with a 27 break even and getting a 63 pointer. Been very impressed. I think I've always bagged this guy. Maybe I need to shut my mouth now. But the hooker that nobody's really talking about is Phoenix Crossland. If you're looking for someone to go to, if you're not happy with your hooker position, I think Crossland is a fine pick now. This guy's just plugging away. He's kind of doing what I expected Reed Marnie to do. He got a 58 this game. I think he did get a try this game, however. So just monitor that. 26 break even though. He's been very good this season and he's a workhorse. Honestly, nothing else I want to talk about further for the Knights. I still don't think McEwen is someone that I'm looking at. Trey Mooney, maybe a 47, quite under par. I think he had restricted minutes this game, but that could be incorrect. Don't quote me on that. But yeah, he's going to lose a bit of cash. Someone who I traded out with Payne Haas. I think it was last week, so is what it is, or the week before, sorry. Let's talk about the Raiders. Playing horribly. I will say to you, if you went to Simi Sasagi, you're very, very happy for the 85 points. But boy, oh boy, the last bit of points he got was the worst defense I'd seen. I couldn't believe he got through the line and made like the line break assist to a try assist. But 85, you'll take it. If he's getting that in a game where they get pretty much outplayed in every facet, then yeah, you are very happy with that. And also the duality. He, as I said, he could be the new Beau Fermor. But the only issue is now is where do the changes come in? Timico's been waiting to come back in. Xavier Savage also got injured this game pretty badly. So I think he's going to be out for some time. So we'll just wait for team lists tomorrow. I still think you'll be very, very fine with Sasagi. I mean, out of all the players in the team, he's definitely not one of the issues. He sparked... He got the first try. He sparked another try. I mean, you'd be mad to move him. Hudson Young, as I said, maybe 2-3 weeks ago, I was really targeting Hudson Young. I'm glad I didn't because Raiders are just not playing very, very well. It's something I spoke about prior to the season starting is I just don't trust this halves pairing. It just doesn't look good. Sanders looks awful in defense, by the way. I mean, he just got obliterated by Gagai and Young. So that's something they're going to have to look at. Supercoach wise, Tamale under par here, 40 for someone who can get a bit more points and doesn't need to try here and there. If you're there, I really monitor this, and hopefully the Raiders play a bit better footy. Tarpanay's been average all season. I wouldn't even think about it. If you're on him, get off, in my opinion. And Ethan Stranger 95 here, which is good to see, but I still think he can have some really mediocre scores, so I wouldn't look at going there. Ethan Sanders, I still, if you are someone that's like getting over Ethan Sanders, I'm actually, if I can facilitate this, I will look at getting rid of him this week. I'm just kind of over watching this whole Ethan Sanders, Daniel Atkinson scenario. So I just want to get to like a Cleary Hines combo ASAP. That's me though. But yeah, I don't think he's like super coach relevant. Neither do I think is Atkinson. Noah Martin also, by the way, I did put the R on him. Very happy with that. Scored at 76, and he's just plodding along, plugging away. He's going to make us a lot of cash. So when you trade him out, completely up to you, but it won't be just yet. The last game, ladies and gentlemen, extra time, Eels versus Tigers, 22-20 to the Tigers. Boy, I thought there were some really weird calls this game. I don't know if you watched the game, but when Jack Williams, went 1 meter away from the line, stood up to play the ball, and they knocked the ball out, and they said it wasn't a tackle. I thought that was a wild call. Really kind of felt like Eels deserve this game a bit more in the Tigers in a way, but that's a pretty rough thing to say. Yeah, look, this was a great game of footy. Either way, it was an awesome game of footy, really on the edge of your seat. And let's start with the Tigers. Let's talk about Kai Pearce-Paul. I flagged him as a pod last week. I flagged him as a pod prior to the season starting. He is going bananas. It's not even just tries. The offloading, Dewey supporting him when he makes a bit of a bump in a line. There's always someone there just to be ready for his offload, and you can see that. Do I think he's a must-have? No. Do I think he's someone you can buy? Yes, but geez, he's going to be expensive. I mean, a 59 break even going into 120 points on top of that, you might just want to wait. But again, very interesting. Now, big talking point here. Terrell May, 90 points. 119 break even. Will there be people that go Payne-Haas to Terrell May? Very interesting. I can't wait to see this from the trades, but yeah, that's going to be something to see. Alex Twal, I think you can still go him. Break even of 12, 548,600. I still think he's someone you can go next week. Again, I held Yo not to go to him. I was completely fine with that. It going into extra time hurt a bit, but it is what it is. He's a great pick. Duality of FRF to RF. I think his offloading looks really, really good. I think at the moment he's like that one guy, that one forward that's just offloading at will, kind of like Haas does. And it looks really, really good. Dewey 69, you absolutely live with that. Buller 80, I don't read into him too much. He can score here and there and be super coach relevant at times, but not now. Big talking point for me is Hamasi Makasini, 44 points. He just looks so awkward in the center role. The defense from him looks really bad. I just think he's a winger. And if Laulili doesn't get... So I think Laulili got put on report, but Laulili went down for a sin bin. Now that really hurt people that traded for him this week. That sucks. But if Laulili does get suspended for one game, which I don't know, the problem is I don't think Laulili should have been sin binned, but because the injury to Bailey Simonson was so severe because of Laulili and what he chose to do, which was basically tackle someone in the air, which we see every single, like 4 to 5 times a week, if not more. Because of the injury, Laulili got sin binned. Whether he gets punished for that, if he does, I think we could see Makasini move to the winger spot because his defense also looks pretty average in center. That will be something absolutely amazing for us. So let's hope we see that, but just wait and see what happens on that. Tavana got to try this game, 50 points, but I'm not reading too much into that. Samuel Afenu, 64, nice to see. I think the biggest talking points here are Kai Pearce-Paul, Twal and Terrell May, followed closely by Dewey. monitor that, but I still think Cleary and Hines is the way to go for your halfback sort of setup. Last but not least, the Parramatta Eels, they just keep getting very unfortunate injuries. I'm starting to feel very sorry for them. Pez at 14, disgusting to see in a game when they scored 20 points. Yeah, I'm just kind of getting over him being in my team just so I have to see it every week, but it is what it is. He also, I think, copped a hamstring injury, so we need to monitor that, but I'm not rushing to get him out of my team whatsoever. I think we all have other fires we need to put out. Who else can we talk about here that's really relevant? Mitchell Moses, nice game from him. He was very active, a 68, however. I just think for the halfback talk, he's not relevant. Jack Williams, a 64. Again, we've spoken about him before, but he just seems to just cap at sort of that 60 to 65 mark. Very close again to scoring a try. It's going to be really interesting to see what they do in the wing center position now with like all these injuries, so we need to wait on that. Josh Papali, he was okay this game. I don't think he's someone I'm going to be targeting, but getting a 48 is okay. I can't remember if he got injured this game. Maybe let me know in the comments below, but I think he did for memory. Sorry about that. I should remember that, but yeah. Nothing else to talk about here for the Parramatta Eels, to be honest with you. Also, Sean Russell got injured this game with a pretty bad HIA. So did Talon Silva. I mean, the list is huge. So, whoever's versing Parramatta Eels next, who would that be? Who is the lucky team? Because they are going to have the time of their life. It is Gold Coast. Interesting. I suspect Gold Coast win this game, but we'll have to wait and see. I could be wrong. All right, guys, that is your wrap up. I really, really hope you enjoyed this one. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening all the way to the end. I appreciate you guys, the support. Tomorrow, we're going to be doing live. Actually, no, I won't be able to do live team list reaction tomorrow because I have an appointment. So just be aware of that. I'll put that out on the Discord and the community post. But yeah. Thank you so much for watching. Like, subscribe, comment. I'll see you guys on the next video. Take care. Good luck. Don't stress. It's just a game. Peace.